Hey, what's up, strong team? This week we're going to be focusing on the double suitcase deadlift. So we have to make sure that you understand the deadlift first. So in class today, I used somebody as an example, and I used this dowel on their back just to demonstrate how straight the spine was, and also to demonstrate how far back the hips need to go in order to get a really nice hip hinge. So I demoed this today in class, so hopefully you saw it, but if you didn't, just a quick example. I'm gonna stand sideways so you can see my posture. Obviously, we want, if we're doing a regular deadlift, we want our feet about hip width apart and our toes are turned out. But I'm gonna put this dowel on the back of my back, and I'm gonna put my hand on the small of my back to hold onto it, and then the other hand's gonna be up around the top of my neck, keeping this dowel pressed up against my body. So what I want you to notice in this video is how my chest comes down as my hips come back. So I'm pushing my hips back to get into that deep hip hinge. My knees are only bent because I need to lower my body in order to get down to the bells. So my shins are nice and vertical, and I'm not letting my knees really go past or moving forward at all. We definitely don't want them going past our toes, but we also don't want them too far forward. So my shins are nice and vertical, my spine is nice and straight, and my butt is going straight back towards the wall. And then I'm gonna come up and drive through the ground. Squeeze my butt, squeeze my knees, squeeze my core. I'm gonna take a deep breath in. I'm gonna push my hips back, bring my chest down, but notice that my spine is not rounding at all. My shoulders are always above my hips, and my hips are always above my knees. And then I'm gonna push through the ground and drive up. So a lot of you, a lot of the beginners are really struggling with moving these hips back without lowering our bodies too much, and it ends up looking like a squat. So if you have like a broomstick at home, you can videotape yourself, or you can stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself. But what I want you to really focus on is pushing those hips back and keeping your shoulders above your hips. So this would be too low. This isn't good, right? Also, I don't want my knees to come forward, and that's what a lot of people are doing. So this is too angled forward. I want my shins as vertical as possible, and my knees are gonna only be bent so I can lower my body, get the bell. That doesn't mean I'm lowering my body straight down, because that's gonna bring my knees forward. Think about butt up, and you should feel a hamstring stretch. So now we have that covered. With the suitcase carry, the pickup is going to be a little bit different. I want my knees facing forward now, and my toes are facing forward. They're no longer opened up or flared out. So my knees are forward. I'm going to put the bells on either side of my legs, and I want a hip hinge. I'm going to push my hips back, get into that hip hinge, but now I'm just a little bit more narrow because I need the bells outside of my feet. So I'm gonna grab onto the bells, make sure my shoulders are packed and my shoulders are rolled back, my neck is nice and long, and then I'm pinching those shoulder blades together. Once I have my hands on the bell, I'm gonna stand up and drive with the bells. I'm gonna breathe in, push those hips all the way back, imagine that dowel on my spine, keep my shins as vertical as possible, touch the mat, and come right back up. So from a side profile, making sure the bells are on either side of my feet. Knees are pointing forward, toes are pointing forward. Legs about hip width apart, bells on either side. I don't want it too far away, so I want to keep it nice and tucked in. Push my hips straight back. Back is nice and straight. Imagine that dowel on my back, remember? So I'm going to grab onto the bells, roll my shoulders back, pack my lats, pack my shoulders, and I'm going to drive up through the ground. Back is nice and straight at the top. I'm in that plank position. Shoulders are rolled back. My chest is nice and bright. I'm going to breathe in, push my hips back. Shins are relatively vertical. Touch the mat, and come right back up. Breathe in, push those hips back. Touch the mat, roll the shoulders back, pack the lats, and lift. So all of these lifts with the double suitcase carry are coming from my legs, not my back, not my shoulders, making sure that spine stays nice and long, but my stance is a little bit more narrow and the bells are by each of my feet. So this week, double suitcase carry for more experienced people. Everybody else, regular deadlift, regular deadlift. If you've been training for a couple of months, I don't want you doing the suitcase carry just yet. I want you to practice getting into a better hip hinge. So coaches, if somebody's only been training for 3 or 4 months, regular deadlift. We can do 2 bells. Stance is gonna be a little bit wider. We're gonna push our hips back. Keep those shins nice and vertical. Hands are on the bell. I want you to practice deadlifting with 2 bells, but it's not gonna be super heavy. I want you to practice this hip hinge. Hands are on the bell. Roll those lats back, pack those shoulders, stand straight up. Back is nice and straight. Bells are resting on the thigh. Breathe in. Put the bells down. So from the side, bells are next to each other. 1 straight bar. I'm gonna hover over top of the bells, in between my feet. Stance is a little bit wider than normal because I have 2 bells. Push my hips straight back. Imagine that dowel on my back. Shins are nice and vertical. Knees are below the hips, right? So hips above the knees, and then the shoulders are above the hips. Grab onto the bells. Roll and pack those shoulders back. I'm gonna breathe in, and then exhale as I come up. Back is nice and straight, shoulders are packed. Neck is nice and long, I'm looking straight ahead. I'm not shrugging at the shoulders, right? Pack those shoulders back. Breathe in, push those hips back. Keep your spine nice and straight and put those bells back down between your feet.